Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 83 of Behind the MasterMinds. Ooh. 83. Whew, getting up there. We're going to 100? We're going to 100?
Oh, God.
We'll see. Anyways, this is going to be another fun topic that we're going to be discussing today, and it's all about history in the mysteries. Even the title is a bit mysterious. So, you'll find out more as we interview our guests who we're about to bring onto the show. But before we introduce them, remember to like and subscribe to our channel and to support our content. I think let's bring them in. We have Elle from Arcadium Adventures and Michelle and YACINE from Society Curiosities. Welcome. All right, so let's get the introductions out the way. From the land down under, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. We have one of our favorite countries, Australia, the founder of Arcadium Adventures, Elle Lim. How are you doing, Elle?
Very excited to be here.
All right, well, Elle began her puzzle journey designing escape rooms at Trapped in Melbourne, Australia in 2014, where she continues as creative lead. Arcadium Adventures was a twist on the Trapped experience, developing escape rooms as well as cross-platform experiences that all exist within the same world with adventures, discovering the secrets of our order and the world of Arcadium. While their venue remains their landmark attraction, they introduced online and at-home adventures last year, and they pride themselves on a complete sense of immersion across all of our experiences. Wherever you are, adventure awaits. You like that? Yeah, I like that. And we have a long history with our next guests. From our first encounter with them in the beautiful island of Hawaii, their feature on episode 4 of Behind the MasterMinds, to hopefully staying at their overnight escape room experience in Quebec, Canada soon. Here's Michelle and YACINE from Society of Curiosities. Hey, guys. Hello. They are escape room designers and creators of tabletop games and have been in the industry for quite a long time. I'll let them introduce more of their upcoming projects with CC. So welcome to the show for the second time. All right, if you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat below and we will deliver them to our guests.
Yeah, it's great.
All yours.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to fire away with my first question because I have so many. Can you give us an overview of what type of games you currently have and how are they played? We're just going to focus on the tabletop and the online ones right now because of the at-home games thing that we're discussing today. But you guys will have a chance to, tell about your upcoming adventures and other experience that you have towards the end of the show. So let's start with our Elle.
Great. So as mentioned, we kind of expanded into at-home adventures, started the planning in 2020 and rolled them out last year. So we have 2 in our most mysterious cases adventures, and we've started expanding into online experiences as well, being very far away from the rest of the world. Having some online options is really helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so they can play their games, have components where it could be mailed to you in the hard copy format, but also you can do digital as well.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, and Michelle and YACINE.
So we have 2 series of tabletop games right now. The main one is Society of Curiosities. It's a mix of the real world and fiction, and we try to give a feeling of adventure and blurring the line between the reality and fiction. The players are not sure what's the game and what's the game.
And then the other is the Fairy Tale Files. Those are also tangible tabletop games. And like Elle with Arcadium, we have a few digital games that can be played from anywhere at any time. You want something right now, you can play it.
Yeah.
Nice.
How many games do you have now? I mean, I feel like they were pushing now like almost every single month. And how many are you up to now?
Yeah, 4 Society of Curiosities tabletops, 4 Fairy Tale Files, and 3 digital games, including one with the Winchester Mystery House.
Oh yeah, that was a real fun.
Yeah. By the way, as they said, they rarely do discounts, so they actually have one running right now. So if you do purchase, it's 15% off on all games.
All of them.
All right. So we're gonna do a little trailer for them because they actually have one of the famous YACINE.
Yeah, when it first started, you're gonna see a familiar face in this trailer. Make sure you get your autographs right away as soon as you see the video. Type it in the comment. All right, here we go. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
this
happened
happened again.
And I thought previously it was because of our internet issue.
I'm not sure, but definitely manicured hands and yeah,
Darn.
okay, well, that's what it looks like
Well,
when
yeah,
you hold the envelope and are about to open it.
we can put the link in the
I don't know what's
show
happening.
after,
Yeah.
so that people can still see his beautiful face.
Definitely.
This is very odd. All right, well, let's go on and talk about the themes and storyline. How do you select the ones you currently have, and where do you look for inspirations? Start with Michelle and YACINE this time.
So we kind of just look anywhere and everywhere, finding podcasts to talk about history or books, or inspiration comes everywhere. But what we also do is, because of our tangible games, we think a lot about what items do we want to include in the game, what can we make, and how does that fit with the story, and we weave everything together with that.
Yeah, kind of reverse engineer from the item that's going to provide like a moment or feeling of adventure to the players. And we try to play the hits. We like classic adventure. So if at any point our players feel like they're in National Treasure or Indiana Jones, we probably hit the mark.
You guys, so that's actually the theme that you currently have on the first case that you have, right, with the Bardock Lost Treasure. And you do have like a little coin in there. I know YACINE has a little story on that. Coin.
I forget. We have so many stories.
This is the one where you said it was like from a family member or something. It's actually like a
yeah.
So Michelle has an uncle, which is family friend
uncle,
who is an actual treasure hunter, going out on boats and siphoning the bottom of the ocean and see what they find. And
so we actually met up with him and interviewed him about treasure hunting, and he actually gave us a real treasure coin that he found on a ship.
Ooh.
So we kind of use that as some inspiration for it, as well as just his stories are amazing. Just how cool is it to find real treasure? And and even just the treasure coast in Florida, the fact that after a storm, people walk after storms and they actually find treasure because of how the
stuff is washed up and
washed up. It's just it actually is real. It really happens. So it's so inspiring for games.
Yeah, if we move to Florida, we're gonna start doing that too.
I don't know. All I find is like recycled bottles or plastic. And
that's in New York. We don't find anything that washed up on our shore.
Yeah.
We have found a Japanese fishing float. It happened about 2 years ago. I've always wanted to find one my whole life. They're the glass ball floats.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, day before my birthday, we were walking on the beach, and I looked, and just there it was. It was just in the surf, and I couldn't believe it because I've never found one before.
Between two waves, I've never seen Michelle run so fast in the sand.
You see like planted there?
Yeah,
he's
like, I want to see her run.
What can I make her happy on her birthday? Perhaps. That was that's really awesome. Okay, Elle, do you have any stories for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like a similar process. I've always loved, I mean, I guess the greatest part is being able to continue to explore pretty much anything and everything and say that it could be inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, really similar story, just interested in history and stories across any medium. It doesn't even need to be history or stories, just items with cool backgrounds. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I guess that's the main thing. And I think with our because our experiences were built so much off our physical venues, a lot of it is kind of character-driven and what the characters might have interacted with as we keep building that story. So in terms of coming up with the items, a lot of it is kind of related back to the characters themselves.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's actually connected with your escape room themes currently.
Yeah, very much so.
That's
cool. Yeah.
So people could technically play your at-home games and then also go to your location and explore the actual escape room. Is it similar puzzles or totally separate?
I mean, it still has a kind of escape room feel, I guess, but it's very much about adventures. They are, in terms of the physical venue, I know it's at-home games today, but we have spaces in which I guess it's a bit more open world, and they can have various adventures in each of the spaces. But most of our at-home adventures go to people who have visited the venue, and they're building on those experiences, and they want answers to who are these people and the characters. So that was sort of the background behind.
Oh, okay. So most of them are starting with the in-person, and then the at-home is really more backstory for them to learn more about what they just experienced.
Yeah,
that's
great. Unveiling the mystery.
Because you already have an audience base, so it's easy to kind of like develop more into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you both have designed for escape rooms before. What are some major differences in terms of upcoming with like the storyline and puzzles for the at-home games aspect of it? John, go for it. Anyone?
Yeah, the main one is time. An escape room typically is 1 hour on the dot. So it is a large part of why it is a successful industry. People like, jumping in and feeling smart and finishing fast. So the puzzles are often simpler or shorter. You can do a little more story, longer puzzles, if that's your style, on a tabletop game. And you can do a tiny bit more of reading. Not a lot, but people will read a little bit.
A little bit more. Just a tad. Yeah. All right. Ellie, you have anything to add to that?
I was going to say that resonates a lot, the reading. As an avid reader myself, I forever have to be like, oh, we've got to take things out and make the reading optional. But there's always so much. I mean, we have a separate website that's just, hundreds of pages of lore background for people to get into if they'd like to. But not essential for the adventures, so I agree. But I think one of the most freeing things of the tabletop adventures is absolutely the fact that people can take more time. Mm-hmm. It presents its own challenges, especially when we're like a very high touch venue. So our team are really involved, and we're still working our way through. We kind of use different methods for our different adventures as to how we provide assistance, but making sure that the adventures are really smooth is probably one of the different challenges. But there's also designing an escape room is difficult because it's very compared to other types of games, I guess they can do anything at any point. Which is a challenge. But in the same way, there's all these options with tabletop games you don't really get with escape rooms, because they get to take them home and they can tear them up and do all sorts of things with them that you would never do in an escape room. So it's really exciting to be able to do both.
Yeah. Kind of different types of vibes. I do feel like maybe Ellie else has a little more reading than I do remember like going into like different pages and history and stuff.
There wasn't that much.
But also because of that, I also was more like, am I reading like actual history, or am I reading stuff that are just written by you guys? So that will probably be.
You can never tell though, because it's so like particular and descriptive.
Well, it's like really realistic because she has them on a website, and then she has like if you're in a library or if you're in like an auction house or something, and then you just feel like, well, is it actually some website that they found or built on it, or is it actually a real website? So and I'm going to talk a little more about that in a little bit. But both of your games really gets the players involved in the storyline. This is where I was going to talk a little bit about it. Here we go. And one of Societies of Curiosities' first games, The Matter of the Lost Treasure, at times, like I said, I wasn't really sure if it's real or fictional, because we had the website that we could even like plug in how to try our credit cards and purchase something. And I was like,
and somebody was available all the time to speak with.
And then we had like actual people responding to our responses. That was quite interesting as well. That's a pretty that was like our first encounter where we actually got like responses that are not automated. It's like you actually get
like
to
a real
talk to
person on
someone
the other end
in real life, and then they can answer to your particular needs, even at 2 or 3 in the morning. That's very, very committed. Thank you. But yeah, like that aspect of it does make the game feel a lot more real, and you couldn't tell like if it's like a fictional thing that they've added into or real. So I do want to know, like, do you guys have any tools out there that you like to share with the creators now that you've built a good amount of games like such, that you use, like, and you feel like this is really cool or very good to use in these type of like online games, or like search engines or something for the history aspect of it?
Yeah. So as far as like research goes, like we try to blend that world with reality and fake, which means trying to find original documents even, and then change them so that they have what we need for puzzles. So we look everywhere. I like Wikimedia Commons as a search. Flickr actually has a lot, but then you have to look at the rights to see if you can use it, or like you find something and then you backtrack. Even Etsy has amazing things for sale, and like they found them somewhere else. So if you can find the image and search for it elsewhere, you could actually find the original image with the rights. Creative Commons, looking for Creative Commons licensing. The Library of Congress, like they have books online. Right. We live anywhere and everywhere, and also knowing when things fall into fair use, like when things fall out of copyright. Like there's a magic date and it changes every year by 1 year. So knowing what you can use, that's really helpful.
Michelle found this at auction, and she asked, so there was a physical copy for sale at auction.
Ooh.
And stole rights so we could use it in our game. Funny story though. So this was from the time in which the game takes place, but a player got way deep and noticed that the fort that's on the map was built 2 years after the game takes place. So
talk about digging into history.
Okay. You can't fool these people.
We really try. Like we really try to make things in that time period as accurate, and maybe like you guys seen the same thing with Arcadium, that people know more than you know, and you have to expect that. So when you're dealing with history, you have to research and research and research, because there are people who know more always.
Yeah.
So we just like cover our bases on that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I did want to ask, because we were talking about the life help, that aspect of it. Are you guys still doing that, or did your scene work out? He is?
He's like,
wow.
Yep,
I was like, did you build an app at least now that helps you kind of?
Yeah, so it kind of goes back to your previous question about the difference between tabletop and physical escape rooms. And I know Arcadium kind of touched on it a little bit, that physical ones are high touch. Like we have a lot of interaction with our players. And when it gets to tabletop, we're sending it out and we're hoping that the players play it the way we want. So with the chat bot we had, especially when a game is new for us, we're there monitoring it. So I think you got to play it really early on, so you get a little more real humans, because it's kind of our way of being a game master. When people give an answer that we didn't expect or something, our chat bot, when it's new, doesn't have answers. So we chat, we stop in, but then YACINE's changed it since.
Yeah, so we'll monitor 20 to 100 games. So I get a text message every time someone does something, but we're in Hawaii.
Even at 2 a.m.
So the time difference, if it's 2 in the East Coast, it's still like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock here.
Right.
And it shipped to Europe usually a couple of weeks after the launch. So we don't get real middle of the night. It's not great though. Some people play in the morning and then it's the middle of the night and it's not. But we do it, and it allows us to tweak the game so it feels realistic and fun, and you don't get like AI errors.
Yeah, and we see notifications when something goes off the rails. Like every once in a while, people are in some weird rabbit hole and they're way out there.
Yeah.
We'll still get a text so that we can jump on in and corral them back to the path they need to be on.
Yeah, I think we were playing at like 4:30 in the morning, which is still 1:30 a.m. for you, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, they're up at 4:30 a.m. They're messaging me.
So we're making a mental note now not to send you any games early on anymore.
Yeah. or you can actually notate it like on your website, like, you know, if you want like more fun interactions, only play during this time frame. Yeah, for
Or
special treatments.
If you want to get a reaction,
Yeah.
and you already have the answer, message anyways.
Oh, gosh.
Play early on. If you play early on with the release of a game, you will get a lot more custom interactions.
See, that's an incentive right there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, and Elle, did you have anything to add that in terms of tools that you use?
Tools. I can't think of any specific tools. I think just probably a bit like side curiosities. We just explore things all the time, and I again completely resonates with me. Adventurers going so deep, but luckily it's meant, you know, I've had a few moments recently where I've been really grateful that I've gone very deep on topics and sort of forgotten that I've gone that deep. We had an example where at the venue a gentleman came in with his family, and I guess he was like the least excited of the family to be there, and everybody's very excited, but they got to a secret bonus cocktail, and they went up and had to kind of give the code word to the bartenders, and they were responded with that this drink hadn't been available since a certain year, and this man just happened to be an enthusiast about mead. So very specific, very deep knowledge on the history of mead, and he was immediately turned around and was like, "Wait, that's a real thing," and just immediately turned around, fell down the rabbit hole. And I think that's the amazing thing. I imagine Michelle and YACINE experience the same thing, where people, if you ground it in reality and you ground it in history, then you can bring people along the journey who might not otherwise have been interested, and the ones that are interested lose their minds. So I think it's the same thing. It's a lot of exploring actual historical documents. I spent a lot of time in online libraries looking at very old scans of things, and again, same thing, just recreate them as much as possible. If they're in the public domain, use them. So we'll use real adverts from 200 years ago and things like that. So it's fun.
By the way, the trap location that she's talking about, they have a huge bar, like right when you walk in. It's still there, right? You have the bar in the front?
That's in Melbourne. So Arcadium is a separate venue again.
Trap. Okay.
It's a really similar vibe.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just want to make sure the bar's still there. At the trap, it's a trap location at the Melbourne location.
That was actually the first ones that we went to that had a bar connected with escape room, and I was just like, how do people like solve puzzles after they're drunk? Like that was like our first like moment of like, how does this work?
I was like, do you have to earn your drink? You have to escape in order to
like
order a drink, or do you allow them one in the beginning?
There's a sweet spot. There's definitely a sweet spot.
I want to see a whole other behind the masterminds on that. I'm so intrigued.
Everyone come drunk and then we'll talk.
Oh wow! Yeah. Then it might be longer than an hour show.
Yeah. So Michelle, I wanted to also know because you were talking about like how people can find information on things that gets like a that like 1 year time mark when they can find and research on things that they're able to use now in terms of copyright. Is there like an actual website for that?
Yeah. So, gosh, like Wikimedia Commons, there you'll be able to see the licensing.
Okay.
Like Elle said, libraries will have databases of old books. Many libraries. Library of Congress. Was recently on that site. And then there's the magic date, and I'm not going to tell you it because I forget it. But like, it's what maybe Elle knows. Like is it like 70 something years? I forget. I always look it up every time I do my research.
Oh, okay. So it is a magic date, as in for every like it's just a magic date.
Because I believe recently, like a year or two ago, Gatsby fell into public domain. So everyone was talking about that. So like even certain pieces of literature or certain pieces of art after a certain time, they're in public domain and you can use it.
Oh,
Wow.
that's
Elle, do you have more information? Because I like have so many things in my head. I just delete them until I need them again, and then I'm like panic and research everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best thing, always to be safe. But it generally depends on, I think 7 years correct in some countries. 70 years is the date of the death of the author or the creator. But it does depend on the country of origin as well. So there's a few details. But basically, if you love something and it's quite old, look it up.
Yeah,
It's good
True.
information. Yeah, for sure. And you both also utilize the internet aspect of it with your physical game components that you mail to the and also I guess they can also download as well. What do you think about the balance should be? I know the players have also debated about this. Should we have internet with like our games, or should we totally just immerse ourselves in the actual paper components of it and not have that? And I guess like another thing is when they're traveling, I guess if they don't have internet, then what do they do? So what do you guys feel about when you're designing? Like, do you want to do one that just like without internet at all and just the physical components, or you feel like that internet aspect is important? I'll go first.
Yeah, I'll jump in. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I think the amazing thing about the last few years is there are so many different options for tabletop games. And as a player, sometimes I like things that are cross-platform, and sometimes, like you said, if I'm going on a holiday or just like a different environment, to have different options. So I don't land any one place. I think it's great that there are so many options available. For us, I think it's still, I like to be able to provide kind of specific guidance for the groups, which is where the internet and all of AI and chatbots can be helpful. But at the same time, certainly going from our in-person adventures to the tabletop games and sort of sending them off into the abyss was quite a stark contrast for us, because we're so used to knowing exactly how people are experiencing our adventures. And I remember one of the first lots of physical adventures we sent out, which is based, so our first chapter is a clandestine recruitment at a conference, at a convention, and we send out all of these convention materials. And it was the first time we really did a big send out to people who didn't already know us from Brisbane. And we got an email back from one of the customers, and she was like, so I thought I purchased an experience, but I received all of this material, but I'm based in a different city. I won't be able to attend. I'm like, no, this is the adventure. And I think not having more than just the paper materials would have been really difficult in that instance.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, like, it definitely does give people who I guess don't have the like if you can't mail it to them for a certain reason, like in certain countries, but now you can present them with what you have and they can still play your games.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. What about Michelle YACINE?
So I think our industry is so new with tabletop games that I think part of the discussion comes down to labeling our games, because we want people to love what we make. And we also know that what we make is not for every type of puzzler, including the online component. So I think if we get better at telling people what to expect in their experience, they're going to be happier with it versus saying, well, I didn't like that I had to go online for things. Like, cool, if you don't like it, you don't have to play it. There's other companies we could tell you might like. Like what you said, though, Elle, with helping people a little bit, the online is so good for that. It also allows us to tweak our game. Done. Anything that's online, if we see, we monitor answers that come through because we have the online portal. So we can still kind of just like an escape room when you're monitoring games and watching players, even hundreds of games later, we can still go look at the answer transcripts and see if there's any sticky points still and continue to smooth it out. Whereas if it was purely printed and sent out with no online part, like that would just be like, well, we have to do another print run or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
I think my preference is a little bit, but I like computers. A lot of our customers tell us that they enjoy the game, but they would have preferred if it was all, paper, no computer, no tablet. but it's also something that we felt like we could do differently. So if you make it a strong point because you have an idea of how to present it differently, and we're lucky because that's my professional background. So I think it can become more. I agree with Michelle that there's no clear way to tell people, at least we haven't done it on our website, and that would help.
Yeah. And I think like just a little thing to add also is the fact that if like, you know, it actually makes sense, right? With your storyline, like why would you need an internet? Because you're going to like an auction house, you're not bidding on something because that's involved in the game. So
or a hacker spy type of game definitely makes sense for something more digital.
So I guess like if it makes sense with what you're trying to build and the puzzles that you're trying to, you know, create in this game, then it is what it is.
It contributes to the experience.
Yeah, for sure.
We definitely like I do the Secret Santa project where you have one person you make a gift for, and so that's my way of kind of experimenting a little bit. So I've made one game that's completely offline, and you know I like that. Like it's for us just offerings, being able to have multiple things for different types of players. I mean, as a company, it just makes sense to have more games for more likes, more interest.
Sorry for laughing. Michelle underplays it. She made an entire 3D fairy house for Secret Santa.
Not 3D, like what? I made a miniature house.
Wait, do you have this nearby? Like
no, it was a one-off. I gave it away.
Oh, lucky recipient.
Very cool. Oh, this is for the Secret Santa that we have like on every yearly basis where you guys trade each games.
That's so cool.
Wow. That sounds like what Michelle would love to do though, because you have the fairy tales.
Now she brought a pop-up actual house.
Aw, nice. Okay, well, I'm going to do things a little bit different.
What are we doing?
Well, I'm going to give away their games because they talk about so much about them, and I'm sure everybody's very excited.
All
and
right.
I don't want to do it at the end of the show because I feel like a lot of players just going to go to that section and don't even watch the show.
Yeah.
Too bad. You're going to have a surprise today.
And then we're going to give you cryptic answers on who the winner is. No, we won't do that. We'll tell you if you want.
Yeah.
What's the first one?
Okay, so we're going to give away Society Curiosities digital game of their choice. And the winner is...
Player's Choice. Here it goes.
Yeah. Anna Clara Garcia. Congratulations.
Anna Clara Garcia.
Please
read it below.
Handle is, please. I know that I probably pronounced them
Garcia.
wrong.
It could be Clara. It could be Clara.
Yeah.
Either way, it's written there for you.
Okay. Now and also just so you guys know, like these giveaways are all on our Instagram. So if you don't know how to enter, go there and all the information will be in there. And you have 48 hours to claim. So you have to email us at info@escapetheroomers.com in order for us to know because, we can't really contact you in ways and we need your email. So, Okay, cool. Going on to the Arcadium Adventures winners for their games, which you can actually download from anywhere in the world.
Ooh, which is the first one?
The first one is Chapter 1, The Most Mysterious Convention.
Oh, that's the one she was talking about. All right, here we go. Who's the lucky winner?
Okay, it's Anya MCQ. See, that's what I mean. Okay, ANYAMCQ.
McQ.
Congratulations.
There you go. Congratulations.
Okay, Chapter 2. A Most Mysterious Cloakroom Discovery.
Ooh, I like that one. That was a lot of fun too.
Yeah. It sounds like Harry Potter, but it's not. Okay.
All right. Who it is? Who is it? Wait, did I have to play these in order?
No.
Like, do you need to play Chapter 1 or Chapter? Okay, just letting the winner know. Here we go.
Okay, and it's Martin Terrio.
Martin Surreal. You're butchering these IG handles.
I am spelling it out this time as well, just in case, All right.
All right. We have one more. Here we go. Who's the lucky winner? It is.
It's LT40480, the lost map to Pandora's box.
I want the lost map to Pandora's box.
That does sound very mysterious. Okay,
I entered.
Allie Johnson, 14.
Oh, I didn't win. Allie Johnson, 14 won though. Congratulations.
Congrats. All right, guys, you're going to have so much fun with this.
For Thanksgiving too. Play with your family and everything.
A lot of mysteries to solve for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, So let's go on and talk about game components now and how to make them look a certain way to have history feel in them. I have seen YACINE Michelle's process of aging newspaper and diaries. So let's chat about that. How does that process work and how long does it take to make it? And do you regret learning about it?
I think they have it down packed by now with the aging process of the paper.
Oh yeah, we regret it every time we're in front of the oven for a couple hours. Yeah.
Okay.
The aging is like a combo of printing and physically aging things. So that gives us a little more consistency in what we have. So there we can print kind of like the history of a paper, be it dirt or folding marks or whatever, and then we can further age it to give it the tangible thing that you touch, a tangible aspect like the ripples or a smell or a little bit of dirt, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The process is just time and the oven, and we look at tea or coffee or little bits of tea on things to give deeper stains. We do have it down now, but it is very time consuming.
Yeah, you guys are professionals.
Yeah. How long does it take, the whole process, until like one page is actually done?
It's about roughly 20 minutes for 100 to 200 sheets of paper.
We do them in big batches now.
Yeah.
Oh, in bigger batches now. Wow.
Yeah, so it's not just like one page at a time, but we'll do the same process to a lot of them, and then we'll bake and heat them all up.
Yeah, but you can't stop once you start, so it will eat up a chunk of your day once you get going.
Yeah.
Is it kind of therapeutic though?
It depends on how you look at it.
It is just work.
Okay. I was trying to make you
come and try. If you want to do some and call it therapy, you're welcome.
Well, when we stay at your B&B, you have some paper laying out.
Nice. We'll include that as part of the game and get our game components done.
Yeah, put your guests to work. There you go.
Oh my god.
By the way, I do have to commend the both of you. You are like the king and queen of DIY. Okay. I just saw your video of how not to move a safe on YouTube, which I'm going to post a link right here somewhere.
Yeah.
Go check that out. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's entertaining. And it just shows how dedicated these two are to creating immersive experiences with set design and everything. So yeah.
And they're great vloggers too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely entertaining to watch.
And then he always makes YACINE be like the face of.
He's the model. He's the face of society.
Nice. Oh my god.
And Elle, do you have?
Oh, I mean, I have a separate question for Elle.
Separate question.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have a lot of materials too in like the case files from address books and newspapers, invitations, tickets. And I noticed in chapter 2, a most mysterious book discovery is actually based in Melbourne, right? Do you source these locally, or is it harder or easier to research like about the city that you live in, or do you prefer something that's like foreign?
Yeah, so when I started writing the kind of histories of the order, I really specifically wanted to shine a light on regions that are kind of not as well known. And luckily for me, Australia is one of those places. So that was definitely part of it. Like, I think there tends to be a focus on often European history, which is not a problem, but I thought it would be really interesting to explore kind of, I've got, particularly in the Lost Map to Pandora's Box, there's a real Asian focus as well, and all of it's grounded in history, because I think one of the things for me is that some of my other work is in education, and in addition to being entertainment, if you can impart some background knowledge, amazing. So a lot of it's grounded in real history, and just shining a light on things that people might not be as familiar with.
Yeah, and I guess like for both of you, question-wise, in terms of a theme for history, what is your favorite to create? Like, I know there's a lot of Greek,
question.
Right? Like myth and
mythology, pirates, and
there's so many. But any favorites that you're like, ooh, I'm so excited to get into it.
Well, the one that I think I liked the most learning about, Michelle does most of the research, so I'm just here going like, ooh.
He's the face.
No, he also does all the techie stuff.
Yeah,
it's very
absolutely, yeah.
So the whole pirate thing was fascinating from the 1700s, the golden age of piracy. We went to the Pirate Museum in St. Petersburg, Florida. That was very well done and fun. And then they had black pirates, which were slaves that were, taken from another ship, and they were given the choice to become pirates or drown. And then they had their own crews. And all of it was full of surprises. There were women pirates, women captains in that time. It was super fun and full of surprises. And we could do 2 or 3 more games of pirates and still come up with new stuff.
Yeah, pirate history is also always very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Michelle, would you agree? Is that your go-to also, or what you favor?
Fairy tale.
Gosh, I jump like I have a new flavor of the minute, hour. So I have no favorites. When I'm in something, I'm in it deep. And then when I'm out, I forget about it. So he takes the notes.
Oh, I see. He also is a secretary. So many jobs.
Yeah, mystery, intrigue, hidden passageways are great. I mean, like anything that people don't know about that we can teach them about is really cool. I also come from an education background, so I think that's part of it, is like finding fun in the history, because I didn't even like history growing up in high school. History was not my thing. But it's not, they don't teach it like an adventure or a conspiracy, or which history is. Like, history is amazing when you get it through the right lens.
You mean they didn't give you tabletop games in school to bring home and okay.
Yeah, I think if history class was built on like solving puzzles or finding treasures, I would be way more into it.
I was like, homework? Yes! Okay, let's take it home and do it right away. Elle, what is your go-to? What do you like? What's your favorite type of
Oh my god, this is my food spot. So I'm not sure. I even just noticed the background of our videos. You've got one of our takeaway sheets for these artifacts. So the whole background for Arcadium was that it's all built on collecting these mythical and legendary artifacts, and we've kind of written in our alternate history to bring them all together, and the overarching mystery is how are they connected. So with each of them, we get to explore a different legend, a different myth. And I think what's really interesting for me is seeing how so many stories are kind of, and we're talking about the very, very old ones, kind of appear in different cultures in slightly different ways, but they all have very similar stories. And it's cool to think about how those might be connected.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting. A mishmash. Yeah, that's always cool.
We have a question from Matt Louie from Canada. Wants to know how many pieces of paper could fit in a conventional oven. This sounds like a question.
Yeah,
Depends how many what are they called? Racks? Depends how many racks are in your oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baking sheet can do 9 stacks of 5. It'll
depends
age
on
pretty
the size of the paper.
Yeah, so you're looking at 200 small papers or 100 larger pieces.
Okay, Matt, you heard it. Get to work.
Oh my God.
And then also he says now he needs to fly to Australia to know the whole story.
Oh,
Yeah,
yay.
we'll
Please come visit.
we'll go together.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I kind of feel like Yacine's a baker now. Now that he answered so quick, he's like, it's 200.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Nice. All right. So you guys are very similar in terms of your creative process. And that's why I feel like, you're on the same panel today.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that you both like to do series with your games and continuations on the actual story. And of course, people can subscribe to it on a monthly basis or a yearly basis. Do you have the entire story before you break it into the chapters, or do you create as you go?
I'll jump in. Yeah, I have, like I said, we've got hundreds of pages of lore, and I know exactly where we're heading in the long term. And I guess it's broken out over I guess haven't decided how many chapters there will be, but I know exactly where the destination is. And I think, from a consumer perspective, I have always enjoyed experiences where you get to the end of a story and there were all these secret suggestions and Easter eggs along the way, because I knew exactly where they were going. And so it was really important that I could do that. So there are lots of things that I think as people add on more knowledge through different adventures, they can go back and see that there were more connections they missed along the way. And that's I'll get lots of questions about that, and that's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Easter eggs. That's great. Yeah.
Love
Always build
Easter
Easter
eggs.
eggs into yours. Yeah. All right. What about Michelle and Yacine?
We kind of went the opposite. Our adventures start with an artifact that the society found, and then you go hunting for a treasure, and then you find something. Adventure ends. The next game often starts with what you found in the previous adventure, but they're disconnected, that you don't need any knowledge to pass. And a little jealous that we don't have Easter eggs in our games at the moment.
Okay. But so that means that technically, I mean, both of your games can be played like from any
any point.
starting point. But I guess you're saying like that is it connected or not connected then to the previous?
They're connected in the way that what's found in one helps for the next. And so there's a slight carry. That's the link from one to the other. There are a few like interpersonal things that we add that are very subtle that totally play out. But as far as like the bigger world and the Easter eggs and seeing how things connect from one game to the other, we're not doing that.
And you're doing it on like an episode basis in terms of your progression, or you already know where your ending is as well?
It's a continually moving point for the end.
Right. It's never ending, basically.
Yeah.
We're not sure where how many like episodes we're going to go through. So we're leaving it open so that if we choose, which we aren't at the moment, but if we choose to end, we can cap it up at any given point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's kind of like cases.
Wait. So does that mean you're ending at where you are right now? Like, is that the final?
No.
Okay.
We've left it open, so we are going to be doing another season. Except we did learn that when you do a subscription, even like the 3-month timeline we gave ourselves was still too short. We put out good quality, but the amount of work and the amount of stress we had to put out every 3 months was too much. So we decided that the next season we release will be completely finished before it's released. So all four for the next season will be done before we even begin releasing the first.
Okay.
That would definitely make it less, stressful.
Once you release the first on a subscription, you have a ticking clock for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
So that clock is not fun to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you really care about quality, you end up putting in a lot of hours extra just to get that deadline.
Yeah, there's stuff out of our control too. If playtesting doesn't go well, I mean, it tacks on an extra week or two, and it's about doing it until the game works. And
And the components that's being shipped from overseas, right?
Yeah, there's also that.
For sure. So what is your favorite thing in this whole creative process? Is it usually the storyline that you come up with, the props, the puzzles? Like, which one is it? You want to take this one first, Michelle?
Sure. You got something?
Sure. My personal favorite is when the storyline is all laid out and there's like rough puzzles that all make sense for the story, and that's all together. Michelle's really good at holding multiple things in her head, but for me, it's really a struggle to keep like the potential story, and like plug in puzzles and try to make sense of it. And when it's all like one coherent story, it's very fulfilling and relieving.
Yeah. Okay. And anything to add, Michelle?
Yeah, I think I love the creative process because like I think it sounds like our process is a little different than Arcadium in that like we don't necessarily know where we're headed. We're just we have a theme and a story idea, and then we have moments we want and items we want, and then we place it all and we start to see how it all weaves together. And when you find something that really works and feels really good, like it's a great moment. You know when you have something good. Like usually you know when you have a great piece of a puzzle.
Yeah, like Yacine sounds like the organizer. He's like, here is pieces. And was like, here, take this whole dump and make it streamline, and then I will come back and check your work. Does that sound right?
He's like, that's pretty spot on.
Nice.
You get a bullseye award for that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is.
The organizer.
Yeah, best organizer.
Nice.
That's always
Okay. And
Elle, what's your favorite, the creative process?
Probably unsurprisingly, when it comes to Arcadium, I'm very story driven. And like I said, so when I say we know where we're going, I guess there's an overarching story, and I don't know how many years it would take us to get there. And the story is built to give us the flexibility to explore lots of little stories within that. So I think for me, that moment when I've gone, okay, you started at the very top, you know where you might be in 10 years time, and then you roll it down into this small little part of the story that's really important, that you get all the items that make sense, and you've got all the connections to all the other stories and characters, and everything is lining up, and you have this magic, you can deliver this magic puzzle moment, which is not just satisfying as a puzzle, but satisfying narratively, where you know they're going to have this, oh wait, that's related to this, or when that moment where everything comes together, it's actually like the same moment for them. It just feels very good. So in the creative process where you have the light bulb moments and you know that it's going to be amazing for the people playing, that's the highlight.
Yeah.
were there any moments that you had where you had to take out a character or a component in the game that you put in, you're like, aw, I really don't want to, but like I kind of have to?
I think actually that's probably happened with puzzles more. We tend not to sacrifice too much of the story, but often it will become, because I need to direct focus, they'll still be there, but it will become a passing reference. So again, it's one of those things where you don't need to know it before you play. If you haven't met this character somewhere else, it won't matter yet. But if you do eventually, it's sort of, we kind of think about it as you can enter the world at any point. But once you've explored more of the world, you'll see how things are connected. So there's probably been times where I'm like, oh, I'd love to say more about that character now, but I'll just hint at it. And then if they pick it up, they'll get to have that moment of discovery for themselves.
Nice. And then do you guys ever have like fans that ask you guys to bring back a character? That they're so like into it, they're like, where is this person?
Petition.
Yeah.
We got rid of one.
Yeah.
That's interesting. As far as any designers listening, when we first started with Maddox's Last Treasure, you have a character helping you through. You're guiding them, and he's kind of like an ex-military character. And we thought it would be good because he's on the ground, controlling the troops basically on the ground that are doing research for you. And we got rid of him because we wanted someone less authoritative.
Mm-hmm.
What's the word?
Authoritative.
Wanted someone a little more bumbling, so the players don't ask them for help. The players are the authority. Have they asked us to bring him back?
It is the most popular character.
Uh-huh.
She's essentially a happy helper. And then we have the writer, who's a little more bumbling, but people don't connect as much because Pip is competent. I think people enjoy competent, but she has no agency because she's more like a cheerleader type. That's been our successful character in game.
But the guy we got rid of, no one asked for him back, do they? So it was a good choice to get rid of him.
No one said guy. Okay. He's gone.
Yeah, you need a Pip though. You need somebody like you know.
Yeah, I mean that's just something that I always wondered. I'm like, is there a favorite that people are just like, oh no, just like when you're watching dramas and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, don't kill off that guy. Like he's so great.
Yeah.
So,
for me at least, we haven't got rid of any characters, but also our games masters are also characters in world. So a lot of people are not sure whether our characters in our at-home adventures are actual. So really. But I found it really interesting when we speak to adventurers and they have strong emotions about some characters that are unexpected. That's always really interesting to see.
Yeah,
it's
for
just
sure.
like TV shows, same thing.
Connection is there. Yeah.
People flirting with our characters.
Yeah, people like Victor, the author, because we hired one of our theater friends to play a short video bit, and he's a handsome man. So
Do
Okay.
not kill off handsome man.
Oh, there's
That
also
is
your
not
favorite
franchise.
from Escape Mail.
Oh yeah,
JJ.
JJ.
Something happened to JJ, she would
No.
be the first one to
Yeah,
petition.
I'm like, no,
That's
JJ,
great.
Cuz JJ.
All right. So here's your chance now to the audience. What other things do you have going on in your lives that we don't know about? Anything new that's coming out? And also feel free to drop your social media handles so that we can tell people where to look for and to follow you guys. So go ahead.
What's happening? Who wants to share?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're still rolling out. We've been focused this year on more of our adventures in Brisbane. But what I would really love to do is, so we've got, what are we up to now? I think 7 or 8. And what I really love to do is find a way to bring some of those experiences to the rest of the world. So we're obviously pretty far away and it's hard for people to get here. So I think that's probably something I'd really like to do, as well as there's always so many plans for at-home adventures. Just deciding which one to prioritize. But yeah, I would love to focus on bringing that to the rest of the world.
You mean like an escape room location or just the at-home games aspect?
So I think I want to take our escape room adventures and find a way to deliver all of that story and all of those as much as possible. Probably tweak it, obviously, a different platform, but find a way to change that adventure so that people can experience it from wherever they are.
Oh, like a digital game? Like
like an at-home puzzle box type of thing.
Yeah, I haven't quite decided, which is probably why I haven't started on this, and happy to take any advice, because they're delivered completely differently. So how do we change the experiences so that it's still a really high quality adventure, but that it's made fit for purpose? So that's a bit of a challenge. We've got a creative challenge at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I mean, if there's ideas, just needs to be implemented.
Yes, please. Tell me how you'd like to do it.
Or just we'll come to you. We'll come to Australia.
Okay, so then they can follow you on. You have 2, right? 2 websites.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our websites are theorderofarcadium.com.
Okay.
And our more venue website is arcadium.com.au. So you can check them both out. That's where you can see different sorts of adventures. And our handles are at Arcadium Adventures.
Okay. And then your escape room location website is the Trapdoor one?
Trapped.
Trapped.
That is a separate venue, but please come down and visit us. So we've got I've creatively done an escape room in Melbourne. So if you're in Australia, come by Melbourne and Brisbane. So Arcadium's located up in the north where the weather's usually a bit better. And down in Melbourne where we're called Trapped.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And Society.
We're almost like the reverse twins of Arcadium. So we had the escape room in Kauai. We shut it down and started Society of Curiosities, which was tabletop and online games. And now we're branching out into a physical location of Society of Curiosities. So we're like exact opposites. And our physical location also has a bar, which is so exciting. So we are in Quebec, halfway between Montreal and Quebec City. So right between some amazing escape rooms. So you could do a whole escape room crawl. We are doing an escape room B&B overnight experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that where you are right now? Behind
Right now.
Yeah, so my family is from the Quebec area, so we were looking at spending a little more time there and looking at places to maybe open an escape room, and we've found this amazing Victorian-looking house. It was the doctor's house in the village. It's got a tower. It already had a cafe and bar inside. So we took that over, learned to run the cafe and the bar, which is a stupid amount of work. And now we're adding the escape rooms, classical escape rooms in the basement, and an overnight experience for people who want to delve into the mysteries of the house.
And it's all Society of Curiosities. So very much like Arcadium, like expanding the world. So with the basic of what the society does, which is also really similar to what you guys do. Being able to visit a real place, which is one of the home bases of the Society of Curiosities.
So I heard YACINE use rooms plural. How many escape rooms are there going to be in the
More bed
basement?
and breakfast.
We have 2 escape rooms planned, plus the overnight experience. On our websites, we've announced Curse of the Tiki Lounge. So we'll revamp it to be up to the modern standards of escape rooms, but with the twists and turns of the original game.
A lot of fun, by the way, guys, because we played the remote.
We only played it remotely, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the Lost Continent,
Which I think you guys played.
Yeah, that's when you played. And then we'll have space, like physical empty space in the buildings for 2 more.
Ah.
1 and 12.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait.
Michelle's like, wait, we do?
The passage that I didn't know we discovered.
And when is this going to be ready?
3 months ago? No, we're nowhere near done. It's taking a long time. We haven't announced the specific date yet. We're talking months rather than weeks, though. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, but we're really hoping that by summer we have one of the traditional escape rooms and the overnight escape experience ready. That's our hope. Everything takes longer. So we're crossing our fingers that we can make it happen.
Yeah,
right.
especially when we're traveling.
Yeah, and like we don't want to release something that's just good enough. Like we want something really great. So we'll take the time that needs to be taken for it.
Magic takes time.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like knowing your quality, I'm sure you don't want to have.
And we might be visiting Canada in summertime too, right?
No, ours was a little earlier, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see.
Well, thank you guys for sharing all that news with us. Sounds really exciting, and I'm looking forward to when it's all done and completed. And we, of course, really enjoyed our conversation today and can't wait to check out everything you have. So, and also I wanted to let everyone know that this episode is brought to you by our episode sponsor, R1 Indoor Karting. R1 Indoor Karting is an entertainment center in Rhode Island, USA. Their facility has arcade, go-karts, axe star throwing, and a 25 portal time machine with all the various challenges. It's just like
it's a lot of fun. You spend a whole day
adult
there.
like playground, I guess.
And they have a bar.
Yeah, so you can check out their website for more information on indoorkarting.com, and you can use your code 10% off at booking ESCAPETHEROOMers. Cool. And if you're interested in becoming a BTM episode sponsor and for future episodes, please email us at info@escapetheroomers.com. And also remember the winners who won the raffle should also email us so that we know. Okay, so then due to the change of the scheduling of some of our panelists for the December 2nd show, we're going to have to postpone that one to next year, probably sometime. But we do have our last episode coming up for the season, and it's going to be on December 16th. We're going to end it with a high note with some amazing online digital designers who are specializes in cooperative games, which, I'm sure a lot of you guys played like a lot of these before, like In Chambered. I think that the other one was Complex, and then we also have 11 Puzzles, which is very awesome. Yeah. So, anyways, we do have some announcements to make though for our Bullseye Award that's coming up, and it's going to start on Monday, where you can nominate Game Master of the Year and Employee of the Year award on our site, and then starting for December 1st, you can also nominate your favorite in-person games and at-home game adventures on our site. It does, and these are our players' choice, so it's not coming from us. It's just like players vote in for
anyone can vote.
Yeah, so we'll send out an email on that one soon, so you guys know where to do that. But before that, make sure you check out our list of Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. We're gonna publish that tomorrow, actually, because I saw that a lot of the companies already have sales going on, so I don't want to wait till then. So just remember to buy, and then you can eat your sorrows away at Thanksgiving after. When your wallet
eat and play.
Well, anyways, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and have a great holiday. Thanks.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Gobble, gobble. Bye.